Co-sleeping and bed sharing. What the hell is the difference? In this video, we'll talk about the differences between bed sharing and co-sleeping, and also why crib sleep is actually not the safest sleep option for everyone. But first, why should we listen to me? Hi, I'm Valerie. I'm a therapist specialized in birth to six mental health and sleep without sleep training. I like for families to get sleep solutions that make sense to them, that are practical, that understand the unique challenges of breastfeeding families. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, so let's talk definitions. In the US and Canada, co-sleeping and bed sharing often are used interchangeably as if they're the same word, but they're actually not the same thing. The difference is bed sharing means your baby is in your bed, whether that's directly in your bed or on like one of those pillows that people, one of those pillows. Co-sleeping means they sleep near the parent. So it could be a butt on a separate surface. So it could be a sidecar bassinet. It could be a crib in your room. It could be maybe a floor bed, like they're on their own mattress on the floor beside your bed. There is lots of information out there about how crib sleep is the safest sleep way for everyone. And so parents are often only given information about how to have their baby sleep safely in a crib. But here's the problem. A breastfeeding parent comes home with their baby, they put them in that crib or the bassinet, and the baby starts crying. The breastfeeding parent takes them out, feeds them, puts them back. An hour or 2 or 3 later, cry again, take them out, put them back. After 1, 2, 3 days of this, maybe a week of this, the breastfeeding mom has 2 options. One, she's going to continue insisting that the crib is the only safe place for the baby to sleep, going to continue getting up at night, terrified of putting her baby in the bed or setting up a safe co-sleeping arrangement. And she's going to be exhausted and probably end up in the second scenario. The second scenario is she takes the baby, sits with them on the recliner or a couch, and eventually just falls asleep from exhaustion. And that is actually a dangerous situation for your baby. So what do breastfeeding parents end up doing instead? In fact, it's between 65 and 75% of breastfeeding parents that even if they do not plan on co-sleeping or bed sharing, end up doing it anyway, which is why this video is so important. But what they end up doing is just putting the baby in the bed and co-sleeping or bed sharing unsafely because they didn't intend to or plan to bed share or co-sleep. And to me, again, that is way more dangerous and way more unsafe than intentionally planning to bed share or co-sleep, depending on your personal situation. It is essential that whether you choose for your baby to sleep in a crib, to co-sleep, to bed share, whatever it is essential to follow the safe sleep guidelines for your sleep arrangement of choice. All of them can be safe or unsafe if you practice them in the way that they weren't intended to be practiced. So something that is very misunderstood about co-sleeping is that it can actually be safer for breastfeeding babies and mothers to co-sleep than it is for them to sleep in a crib. And I'm going to tell you why crib sleep is actually not the safest option for everyone, and specifically focusing on healthy full-term babies and exclusively breastfeeding moms. Sleeping close to the parent for an infant, especially under 6 months old, can be soothing for the baby. It can also help them regulate their body temperature, their breathing, and their heart rate. And that is a safety measure that doesn't cost anything and is designed by nature to keep your baby safe and healthy. Sleeping closely with the baby also promotes bonding and breastfeeding and increases the chances that mom will be successful at breastfeeding and also will be able to breastfeed longer term to make sure and help you to reach your breastfeeding goals. Some babies may have medical conditions that would make it less safe for them to sleep in a crib away from a caregiver, but also, for example, for premature infants, they have other additional needs that cannot be met when they're sleeping in a crib. It's really important when choosing your sleeping arrangements to consider your individual situation, your individual baby and their needs. So what is their health condition, what is your family's beliefs and values around this, are you breastfeeding, and does crib sleep actually make sense for you and your baby and your values? If it doesn't, the safest thing to do is to planfully and intentionally set up a safe bed sharing or co-sleeping arrangement. If you don't feel safe with your baby in your bed, the next safest thing is to have them in a sidecar crib. Bed sharing is not the safest option for everyone. Crib is not the safest option for everyone. So make sure that you choose the option that is safest for your baby and you in your individual situation. Crib sleep is the safest option for some families. It is. Same with bed sharing is the safest option for other families. Co-sleeping on a separate surface is another safest option for other families. There is no such thing as one sleeping arrangement that is the safest option for everyone. It's just not a thing. So when you're evaluating which sleeping arrangement is best for you, and when you've chosen a sleeping arrangement, make sure that you're following the safe sleep guidelines for the sleeping arrangement that you feel makes most sense for your individual circumstances. Let's talk about the benefits of bed sharing for breastfeeding families. Having baby laying directly next to you, whether that's right in your bed or in immediate sidecar crib, depending on your level of comfort, makes it more convenient and accessible to feed your baby. It gives you the ability to just roll over to sideline nurse and feed them without actually getting out of bed, which can take up so much energy to get out of bed multiple times a night, to walk over to a crib and then put them back in the crib, wait until they fall asleep. You don't need to do any of that if they're in your bed or directly next to you. So this can help maintain healthy milk supply. It can promote healthy growth and development and ensure that you're getting the supply and they're getting the milk that they need. Bed sharing can help babies sleep more soundly, better for longer periods of time. Why? Because they are literally next to their source of comfort, safety, food, everything they could possibly need is right there beside them when they're right beside the parent. They can smell, hear, taste, touch their parent, and that just creates a level of safety that allows longer, more settled sleep. Breastfeeding bed sharing moms also sleep more and longer and get, I think the number was 47 extra minutes of sleep every night compared to moms who have to get up to resettle their babies in the crib. If you're curious to learn more about the specific research and the specific numbers and statistics around co-sleeping, get this book, Safe Infant Sleep by James McKenna. He talks about how to do it safely, but also reviews all of the research around it. Bed sharing can promote enhanced bonding. Again, you're spending more time together. You're hearing all of their little noises and things, and you're basically cuddling with them all night long. So it can also promote bonding. And like I mentioned before, being right next to you can help with better regulation of body temperature, breathing, and heart rate for the baby. Bed sharing in the first 6 months of life for full-term healthy babies with their breastfeeding mothers actually has a reduced risk of SIDS. So this is actually something that's very widely misunderstood because people use SIDS as a general term for two separate causes of infant death. I can explain it in a second. One is stopping to breathe, and another one is a physical suffocation. However, sleeping next to mom, the breastfeeding parent, can actually prevent your baby from being impacted by a breathing problem because your body regulates their breathing. Another cool thing that I learned in this book is actually that moms and babies' bodies sync together in terms of their rhythms of sleep, which basically means that when baby does wake up to feed, it's actually when mom is in a lighter sleep cycle. So it's actually less disruptive to the quality of mom's sleep to wake up and feed them. Also, some moms are able to feed without actually waking up, which is pretty cool too. The other thing that is the cause of infant death that gets thrown in as a blanket risk of SIDS is actually the physical, like us stopping to breathe, as in, like people would say, I'm not bed sharing because I'm scared to roll on my baby. So it is Basically impossible if you are sober, not on any medication, following the safe sleep guidelines for bed sharing. It is not possible for you to roll on your baby because you're, like I mentioned before, and you can read more about this in this book, your bodies are synced together. You might recall an experience from when your baby was first born that you could hear every little noise that they make and you easily wake to feed them. It's because your bodies are biologically synced. It is literally physically impossible for breastfeeding moms with their babies or sleeping direct to them to actually roll on them. When rolling is possible is if there is an adult in the bed who is not the breastfeeding parent, or if the breastfeeding parent had alcohol or drugs or anything that would impair or a medication that can cause sleep to be too deep. In this situation, it is not safe to bed share, and you should opt for either separate surface co-sleeping or even crib sleep, depending on your situation. So bed sharing is not safe for everyone and not safe for every circumstance. If you or your partner are smokers, under the influence of alcohol, excessively tired, bed sharing should be avoided. If a family decides to bed share, you have to make sure that you do it plentifully and intentionally. Read The Safe Sleep 7 by Lalech League, or you can, again, read this awesome book to make sure that you're following all of the guidelines for safe bed sharing. If safe bed sharing is not possible for you because of smoking, because maybe you're not breastfeeding, maybe there is medication that you have to take that would impair your ability to wake up easily, then opt for either separate surface co-sleeping or crib sleep and follow the guidelines for those two options. Did you find this video helpful? Do you have any questions or comments? Is there somebody that needs to see this video? Please share, like, hit comment, subscribe. And if this resonates with you and you're looking for sleep resources that are for parents who are breastfeeding, who are co-sleeping, then I'm your girl. Hit follow and check out the link in my bio. I wish you sweet cuddles and dreams and all the very best.